our lady space with Marilyn and Tawana, where we can talk about it. Sharing your point of views on everyday life and relationship with Marilyn and Tawana on our lady space.
Hello, you guys. I'm Marilyn.
And I'm Tawana.
Welcome back to our lady space. Today, we're talking about single and dating and being scared to ask when we're going to the next level. I would say mostly for women, because men can kind of just go on with the rest of their life the way that it is. Everything good with them, it should be good with you.
You don't say that, I ain't saying that.
We ain't gonna say that. You know, when you dating someone, it's just normal to want to know, are we gonna be exclusive, get engaged, move in together? It could just be the next level of anything from your original dating phase. And like some women are scared to ask that because they feel like it'll push their partner away. Some partners, if they are serious, about you in a relationship, I feel like it's not going to push them away. Like y'all will come to that, at the same time. And if they're just maybe not serious or just not sure, that's when they'll try to get you to run around or, be like, well, it's too soon, or we just started, or I'll let you know. I don't know yet.
Part of the problem is before you even start the dating phase, when you meet people, you're not really laying out the intentions. Like, what are we doing here? Right. Like, are we dating to be dating? Are we dating for long-term companionship? Are we dating for marriage? Like, what are we doing here? And I think if you lay that out in the beginning, you'll know, first of all, if the person you're talking to is on the same page. Because if you're dating somebody and you want to get married, they don't. If you haven't had that conversation, then you're wasting your time.
But that's why they scared that friend. They feel like the men may be like, well, you're taking it too fast. You already trying to find out what we finna do. We just started dating. I think that's
what run. You feel that way just from having a conversation. He ain't the one. We can't have a conversation about our goals. What are we doing? If we can't have that conversation, then we don't need to be together.
If you said that in the beginning, they can't come back and be like, well, I was just dating to date. Me personally, I don't know about you, friend, but I was always a dater to get married. I know some people, that's not some people, they want to date. On one end, like we've said, don't put all your eggs in one basket, but then on the other end, we're getting too old to just, like Miss Curly Girl said, what's your favorite color again? Like to start all over again, to do that at our age, that's too much.
But if that's what you want to do, it's okay. But make that known. Even if you are one that's okay with going with the flow and you don't want anything that's exclusive, what if the person you're dating does? That's why I think it's very important, very necessary for you to have that conversation early on, before you start catching feelings, before you start meeting family and kids and all this. Figure out what it is that you want, but before you even start dating, figure out what you're trying to do. Because I told Roy, I'm a wife. We had that conversation, meeting on a dating app. I was dating because I desired to be married again. We were on the same page. He had never really thought about being married, but he was open to it. And as we started getting to know each other and as everything built, then it was a natural progression. I understand being afraid of possibly running them away or thinking that they may leave if you bring it up, but I think that's a red flag. If you can't have a conversation about a future with this person, I don't want a future with you.
And don't ignore the red flags. That's a big thing. Like, we'll love a red flag out of somebody. If you see that red flag and that's a no-go for you, take that as your sign that this may not be the person for me, instead of just saying, oh, it's okay.
Girl, we be colorblind. That red looks green.
Red
go. A lot of times people get caught up, especially if they fine. You just gonna let all the little stuff that bug you or irritate you. You ain't gonna pay no attention.
Don't care nothing.
Until that one day, I think I read a quote somewhere one day that said the very things that you think are cute about your spouse are gonna be the same things that drive you crazy.
That's why, like you said in the beginning, you gotta be open and vulnerable to what you need and what they need, and to make sure you're on the same page. I'm always down for the on one accord. If you guys are not on one accord, it's gonna always clash. What you feel is important, they don't feel important, and that's going to be a big issue.
It goes back to, I think, that self-love, really getting to know yourself, dating yourself, figuring out what it is you like, because we stated before in the previous podcast, I think Happy Wife, Happy Life, you should not look for someone else to make you happy. Exactly. You should have that happiness already within yourself. Exactly. So if you are that total package, whatever they bring into the picture is extra. I understand being afraid of having that conversation. And I know I'm built a little different because I don't mind putting myself out there, because if I don't have an emotional attachment to you, nothing you say can hurt my feelings. So if we are just getting to know each other and I say, hey, my desire is to get married. I don't do long-term relationships, blah, 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 whatever my requirements are. Right. If you don't agree, okay, next, because I don't even know you enough for you to hurt my feelings.
I have another Libra friend we were discussing the other day about, when you break up and then they tell you, take your time and get to know you. And she made a statement like, I already know me. Like, it don't take me a year. Like, if I meet the person that I know is for me, I'm going full speed ahead. And I'm like, that's me too, because I feel like more people may feel like they need to take the time, but I feel like I'm good. I feel like I done healed. I'm about to let this man that's probably for me go, because I feel like, well, I ain't waited them 2 years that everybody say we gotta wait before I can move on to the next person. I guess I ain't built like that.
I ain't either, because you better seize the opportunity. That time you're waiting because of what society has deemed is the necessary amount of time, because I think after I got a divorce, I had some associates say, well, same thing you said, take some time to get to know yourself, wait a year before you date somebody else. Why?
Who gave you that criteria?
I'll tell you about it later. You don't know her. Once I'm healed, I'm done before I even leave. So my marriage was over way before we separated and divorced. Year you're talking about started 2 years ago.
Exactly, why I was still there.
You have to do what's best for you. Pray about it. Talk to that's what people messing up. They don't pray about it. They don't ask God for guidance. They just jump out here because, I love love. I love to be in love. I love seeing people in love. But I am not finna tie myself to somebody else and be stuck in a situation that's hard to get out of.
For the rest of your life, unhappy.
No.
I did what you do, friend. You be coming with the facts. I be coming with
I'm the Google queen.
My friend got the facts, but I did some Googling today, baby.
Disclaimer, I was in therapy, and before y'all said anything, I am in hand therapy, so that's what's on my wrist. So I have tendonitis. That's why I wasn't Googling today, but I am the Google queen.
So
what you find?
We're talking about being scared and when to move to the next level. I found 8 signs that when you're ready to take your relationship to the next level, you should it's like a little guide of telling you, what you need to do. Okay, so number 1, you trust each other, which I think is pretty much the key. Like, you have to fully trust your partner for you to have a lasting relationship. Like, if you got to see the other and you don't have that total confidence in them, it's gonna fail. Like, something's gonna happen to throw y'all off because you don't trust. It could be the simplest thing, something that doesn't even have anything to do with trust, but just because you guys don't, it could be the one thing to be the end, of your relationship.
Yeah, trust is very important. And remember, I said I'm the type of person who I give you trust from the start. Exactly. Once you betray my trust, I never look at you the same.
It's people that go in not with that, giving them that 100% trust. And I just feel like that's probably a headache. Like, that's so stressful to be with somebody that you already don't trust. Why would you be with them?
And that made me think about teachers. I remember growing up, they would be like, you got to earn an A. My philosophy has always been, I have an A, I got to keep it. And my mama said the same thing. I give you an A, you got to keep it. So it's like, okay, you don't know this person you just met. I understand building a comfort with them, but they haven't given you a reason not to trust. I'm a glass overflowing type person, so I try to always look at the positive and the good, because I feel like what you project is what you get back. I think if you go in thinking, okay, this is going to work, I'm going to lay out all of my requirements, I'm going to be open, you will hope to receive the same thing, but if you don't, then that's okay. Because you're going to learn something from this situation anyway. Definitely make sure you trust each other, because that's going to be important throughout the whole relationship.
So number 2, you support each other. There's nothing more comforting than having a spouse that supports you. No matter what your endeavors is, No matter if you want to wake up, look at TV, go to sleep. If you want to wake up, take on the whole world. If you had that support and also motivation, I feel like they motivate you.
I had that song in my head, Kelly Rowland.
Now you supposed
Girl,
to
you know you don't want these vocals.
Yes, I do. Go ahead, girl.
On that note, can we pause? Those of y'all who don't believe my friend can sing. Oh, we're gonna insert the clip. I done had several people ask me if you can really sing. What? And I'm like, yeah, she be playing around on the podcast, but she can carry a tune.
I got y'all. We got y'all. Another example is, so for instance, you came home from work and you had a bad, I'm talking about a horrible day, but you noticed that your spouse looked like they didn't had a horrible day. Just being selfless and just listening to them, being there for them, caring for them about their day instead of saying, well, shoot, I had a bad day too. No, you know, just be there for them.
I think that goes back to when we were talking about different types of love. That unconditional love, that selfless love. Sometimes you got to put your needs aside because in that particular moment, your spouse may need you a little bit more.
What I need from you is understanding. Don't communicate if you don't hear what I say. But I'm going to give y'all a little bit better than that. That was just me saying off the rip.
I tell this to your sister. I comment on her posts all the time. The way her husband supports her.
Baby.
I tell her it's the love and support from me.
Don't get me, sister. I ain't gonna say her name. It's just like you, just like me. When you on the outside looking in, you can see it better. You got different lens. You can appreciate it better. And sometimes we all need each other to be like, your husband is so good to you. You know what I mean? You be like, then you start naming out the stuff. Like, I think we all need that sometimes. But one thing I can't say about my sister is if you tell her, hey, you better listen, open your eyes, she does. Some people be like, oh, whatever. Somebody come and tell you they see something that you don't. Listen, because my brother off the chain.
He is. And I love the way he supports her. The way he loves her. I mean, I tell you, it's a difference.
Like this generation, it's hard to find that. And because
yes, they are. Yeah.
They're in their 20s and they have what some people in their 40s don't have.
Right.
So you all to my sis and my brother love. Y'all doing it. Y'all relationship goals out here for some people. Y'all doing it, okay?
You have to make sure your spouse knows or whoever you're dating knows that you appreciate them. I text Roy this morning, matter of fact, and telling him how much I love and appreciate him. Exactly. And he says the same to me because it's important.
It is.
And even if that's not their love language, everyone wants to feel appreciated. I know we were talking about trust, but I think once you have a level of trust where you're comfortable enough to actually be vulnerable enough to say those things, that's important.
Like you said, texting, just saying, hey, how you doing? I'm thinking about you. Do you need anything? Hello, beautiful. You know how that used to be the thing for men trying to get you to get. But when you marry somebody, like what you did to get her, keep it going. Keep whining and dining me. Men know when they have a beautiful wife. They'll get in the habit, like, you know, people start complimenting them. They'll be like, well, you get it from everybody else. I don't want it from them. I want it from you. You're my husband. All right.
There's my beautiful friend. Roll that beautiful being footage.
What happened?
I mean, to this day, me and Roy are married. He gets up and leave the house to go to work. I work from home. I text him every morning. Good morning, handsome. Have a great day. It means something to us.
Stop doing it. I want to know what's going on.
When you start moving different, that's when I be like...
Exactly. Because me and Lorenzo will call each other 50, 11 times and say, what you doing? When he know I'm at home and I know he at work. We really just call him because we want to hear each other's voice. You know what I mean?
It ain't got nothing to do with us not trusting where they are. It's just we miss them. And we want to talk to them. And this is our thing. This is what we do.
Number 3 is you both take accountability. Ooh. Number 1 red flag in a relationship is a partner who can't admit when they wrong and who can't say they sorry when they wrong. Who can't apologize. I can't stand. If you was wrong, say you was wrong. I'm even the type of person, even if I wasn't wrong, I apologize if it's just to keep the peace. You know, just to move on. It's not a big deal. Every battle you ain't got to fight.
And Roy told me one day, he was like, you apologize just so we can get over it and move on. Yeah. Because you know I don't do pity parties. So I'm going to give you a few days.
I feel like if both of us can take accountability without hesitation, and really mean it, then you definitely is on the right track to the next level.
Yeah. If I hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. See, you have to be able to look in the mirror and stand in the truth that you may have messed up. Because I know I be messing up. But I don't mind coming back and saying, you know what, baby, I didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry. If I hurt your feelings, I do apologize. Maybe I could have said that a little bit better. So next time, hopefully it won't be the next time. But if something else happened, I'll try to choose my words a little bit better.
Now, I don't know. I think women can apologize easier than men. I don't know if they think that makes them weak or if they just don't really think they were wrong. Can you just really don't think you ever wrong?
But you know what?
They do something else. Like they'll come back. Their apology is not words, it's things.
That's what I was just finna say. You don't have to apologize to me if you correct the behavior. If you do something that makes me feel some type of way, upsets me, if you don't say I'm sorry, but you change your behavior, I'll take that.
But see, then change behavior take time. I need some immediate. You ain't even gotta apologize, but just acknowledge what you did. And then in line correct it. Because if you do it again, then you ain't sorry. Number 4 is a big one, friend. Satisfied with the level of intimacy. I'm gonna say my little bit because I know you you the sex doctor right here. I feel like you should not move forward with the relationship if you are not sexually satisfied. If you get engaged, if you get married, it's not going to change. Y'all need to figure out what it is right then and fix it, because you're going to be stuck like Chuck with the same level of intimacy that you was on. If you want foreplay and all that and romantic, you need to make that known in the beginning, because what he going to be saying is, I didn't give you that when we was boyfriend and girlfriend. So why is you expecting that from me now? And then guess who's going to be mad? You. It ain't just about the sexual intimacy for me. Start in the daytime, like you said, from the text.
That text,
calling, checking on me, rubbing me, patting my booty, massaging me, just whatever.
Intimacy is very important, and I think people need to, like you said, understand it's not just about the sex part. Right. Intimacy can be, like you said, the text messages, the phone calls, the affection, the acts of kindness. It could be, that's why it goes back to those love languages. What are your partner's love language? How do they like to receive love? Because the way we give love is not the same way we receive love. Like the main way I give love is by gifts. But that's like my least one. Gifts don't matter to me. Right. But that's the way I show my love. Now, there's going to always be one who is more so than the other. I don't know any couple that is just the exact same when it comes to intimacy. Somebody is lacking in some way. But the important part of that is communicating. You can communicate, this is how I like to be loved on. I know you're not a romantic person, but I like flowers. My husband, he's not all lovey-dovey with the romance, but he knows I like flowers. So figure out what intimacy means to you and voice it to your partner so that they're capable and able to fulfill that need, because this is not a guessing game. They don't know, especially if you're still dating and getting to know each other. Right. That's like making somebody take a test they don't know they take and then mad at them for failing. You didn't get them time to prepare, study, nothing, get a Scantron sheet, whatever.
But you know, another red flag is, what if you tell them and they get offended? So instead of opening up and saying, okay, I'll work on that, or I'll do this because I know this is what you like or what you need, they get offended, get upset, not gonna do it. It's not about you. It's about us being able to connect on the same level together. Even if the sexual part wasn't good, them doing all the intimacy part, it'll fulfill it for you. Like it'll bring it full circle for you.
If it's something that you express to them and they get offended, do a self-analysis. How did I present it to them? Did I come to them in an endearing way where I'm not accusing them like, you don't satisfy me, you don't rub me the right way, you not hitting my pressure points?
You don't do that.
Or are you saying, baby, let's try this? You have to express it to them. And now if you have said these things and they're not willing at all to budge in any way, you got to compromise. If they're not willing to budge and meet you in the middle to figure out something that works for y'all, red flag.
No matter how you say it, no matter what you do, they're gonna get offended, and that's not your fault. That's something they need to deal with.
Yeah. The worst thing you can do in any type of relationship, especially before you bring up the conversation of, are we moving forward? Are we being mutually exclusive? the worst thing you can do is lose your voice. I always speak up and let the other know what your needs and wants are. Now, I heard somewhere that it's not your spouse's job to fulfill your wants, but more so your needs. I kind of get that, but they should still acknowledge your wants and be open to and wanting to explore those things, because that's like the icing on the cake. And when those wants are fulfilled, their wants are fulfilled.
Hello. Number 5, you're both independent. I feel like you both have to have separate lives. He got to have his own hobby. You need to have your own hobby. You need to have your own friends. He need to have his own friends. Yes, y'all, of course, do stuff together. That's going to be probably the bulk of the relationship anyway.
Right.
But you still have to have that independency, that separation. Like, you don't want to like smother each other, get tired of each other. And you don't want to have your own life and then they don't. And then they mad at you because you do.
You can't lose your identity because before you met this person, you were you. Before you had children, you were you. You can't put so much into your kids and your relationship and you lose yourself, because that's where that resentment comes from. And like we said, resentment is a relationship killer. I'm Tawana. At the end of the day, I'm Tawana. You got to have your things that you do. This podcast, I love it. He ain't got nothing to do with this thing. He watches it. You probably would never see him on an episode other than pictures, because this is my thing.
What about the thing, friend? Help me with this one. Okay, you was independent. You was doing your thing. They was independent. They was doing their thing. Y'all got together. Y'all got married, blah, blah, blah. And now he done turned his whole independency off, and then want you to turn yours off.
I think that goes back to setting those requirements up early on and letting them know, look, I go on girls trips 2-3 times a year with my friends. I do this, I do that. This is what I like. You know, yes,
I'm good with that. They good with that when y'all just boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm saying they flip the script.
When you actually do it.
Yeah. So then that'll either have one person just say, forget it. I don't want to argue so bad. Then they do lose themselves.
I think you got to find a happy medium.
Okay.
Because if they feel like they're being neglected, that's a problem. Okay, yeah, I may have went on 3-4 trips a year with my girlfriend, so maybe I drop it down to 2. Now, if you want you to cut it out
all the way
completely, that's a whole different ballpark, because that goes into the whole control thing. Yes, let him voice his concerns, hear him out, don't cut him off, and ask him, why do you feel this way? You are my number one, but I have to do some things for me sometimes. And he should be understanding of that. It's one thing to be protective and wanting to make sure that your spouse is okay and safe at all times. But when it comes to a control situation, that's different.
6, you share similar values. I can see that's good, because early on in a relationship, you can probably get distracted by fun or excitement or physical chemistry, instead of asking the serious questions like, do you want kids? Do you want to get married?
Are you religious?
You can think that it's not a deal breaker for you until it is.
It is.
If you don't have good values, like if you a liar and a cheater, that too, on that level too, I don't want to be with you. Like you got to be on the same page with your values. At the end of the day, if I marry you and you want kids and I don't, you gonna be resentment again. I know I was dating a guy and I was outside. We was in the street. And I was like, I want to break up because you want kids and I don't. And he was like, no, I don't want them anymore because I want you more. That sounds good. But at the end of the day, no, you be getting trapped.
I agree. You have to have, similar values. That's important. Not saying that you will always have the same, but I think you both have to be open to having a conversation to gain an understanding of why these values are important to the other. As you all grow in your relationship, you may start adopting some of those same values. Be authentically you. Don't be trying to change it up, because I know somebody who everybody they date determines who they are. You go from being a Bama fan to Auburn fan based on who you date.
We're going to be a house divided over here, baby. Number 7 is a really, really good one, friend. Communicating about money. Where the money reside, where the money reside. This is the most sensitive subject, I feel like, in a relationship, to talk about finances. Everybody got you have your, when you separate or single, you got your stuff going on. They got their stuff going on. Now, everybody can do however they want. Some people, once they get married, they put everything together. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people, they have little separate accounts and then they'll just have a bill account together. However you want to do it. You know, remember the rule, the 80-20. If you want him to pay 100%, you don't pay nothing. That's your business. Y'all got to define what works for y'all. You can't let Susan Sally Mae say what she do and that's what you need to do. No. But y'all do have to be open about the finances. Know what you're going to do in the beginning. Like, know what you're going to pay or how we're going to do this account. Just go ahead and discuss that in the beginning because it can become a sticky, serious situation that can lead to some discord.
Nowadays, a lot of women are making more money than their spouse. Have that conversation to make sure he's comfortable with that because some men are not comfortable knowing their wife is the breadwinner.
Because you being the breadwinner will have you being punished in your own household because he upset or resent the fact that you bringing in more money to him. A man, you know, have always been supposed to be the provider. They always think providing has to do with financial, but that's not always true. It doesn't have to be you provide for me financially. So you have to, like you said, make that clear that he's okay with that because, like, you know, I always say, I'm with my husband because I want him, not because I need him. And I feel like that's, like, I want to be with you. I don't, some because they need them. I need your finance. I need you to take care of me. They want that saver.
Exactly.
That type of mentality. Don't save me. It ain't what you can do for me. It's how I feel when I'm with you. You know, they'll be like, well, you go to ask your husband for something and he say, well, you got it, or you make more than me, or you don't need it. Oh, wait a minute. I ain't got time.
Even if you don't combine your finances, you're still one. Exactly. So wherever there's a lack, the other one will pick up the difference, especially when they're used to dating people who always got their hand out. So when they are in a bind, they don't have anybody to back them up, but then they meet somebody like us who can carry our own weight. Where, you know, they don't even tell us that they're struggling with something because they're not used to having a companion that supports them and can take up the difference. Whatever you lack, I got. Whatever I lack, he got.
People don't want to talk about those kind of things until after they're married. Like, you never see people dating talking about their finances, what they're going to do, you know, with them when they get married. But by then it's too late.
Ask about that credit score.
What that credit score? Hey, what that credit score? I don't know your credit score. I don't want your hair done, nail done. Give me that credit score.
If you in the 300, not saying I'm judging you, at least are you working towards pulling it up? How did you get to that 300? Like, I didn't even know it could go that low till I was in this group that was talking about it.
And like you said, if you're trying to build your credit, that's one thing. But if you don't kill and you just trying to ride on the coattails of my credit that I done built for my life, keep on walking. I ain't talking to you anymore. I just walk on. See, I'm trying to give them a little bit friends.
Yes, have that conversation about finances. Have the conversation about credit, because at some point you're going to buy something together. You're going to buy a house. You're going to buy a car. You're going to do something.
And you don't want to be one of the spouses that have to get everything. You ever had one spouse got good credit and they got to buy everything to now they credit ain't good? Child support, talk about that, because that means that's money coming out of my pocket. You paying $1,000 child support. I need to know that before we get married. It's not a problem. Right. That's fine. That's your debt. That's my debt. But just let me make that choice that that's something I'm willing to go into. That's all.
Exactly. We definitely need to be prepared, because that's money that would normally be in our home. Now that it's going outside the home, what adjustments do we need to make sure that our home runs properly?
Number 8, drum roll, please. You feel safe in your relationships. I don't even know if we even need to explain it.
I'll say this. Safe can be defined several ways. Being able to be vulnerable, being able to go to those uncomfortable places and have those uncomfortable conversations, being able to shed a tear. Men don't cry often because they don't feel safe enough to do it, because they think they're going to be judged. Exactly. They think they're going to be looked at differently. But you have feelings too, and that's what I teach I'm raising men over here.
I know that's right.
And I tell them, baby, if you feel like crying, and cry, but you ain't gonna be around here crying all day. But yeah, feeling comfortable, vulnerable, having that trust. I think safe kind of sums up all 7 of those. If you're safe, you're gonna talk about accountability. You're gonna talk about independence. You're gonna talk about values. You're gonna talk about money.
I think feeling safe means that I can truly be myself. I know that you're not going to judge me, talk about me, make me feel bad. You know what I mean? All in all, with all 8 of these and going to the next level, every relationship has room to grow. You can be married for years and learn new things about your partner every day. But these are just some basic, like guidelines to at least find out about them before. Once you get married, you was like, dang, that's something I should have known before. But again, you still gonna be learning things even after that. Even if you follow these 8 guidelines and rules, you're gonna still be learning things.
But guys, at the end of the day, in a nutshell, if you've been dating for a few months or a few years, like I said, always have room to grow in your relationship, and never be scared to let your partner know, when you're ready to move to the next level.
And take our tips before you agree to move to the next level. Ask yourself those 8 questions. And let me tell you this, if you don't feel safe with the person you're with, if you can't trust the person you're with, don't be with them. Don't do it for the money. Trust and believe. They can have all the millions of dollars in the world, but that doesn't buy your happiness. That doesn't buy your peace. That does not buy your joy. So ask yourself those questions. And how do I feel in this relationship? And why am I wanting to move forward? Is it because I really have a connection with this person? Or is it because all my friends married, I want a ring too?
Right.
Go buy your own ring.
And even if y'all don't even base it on how many years y'all done been together.
It's not about the length of time that you spent, it's the quality of the time you spent. Because I was engaged 6 months after we met, but that's a whole nother story.
I was engaged and didn't even know I was going to be proposed to. That's what I said, let go and let God. When you put God first and that's the person for you, it'll be seamless. Like, you won't have no problem. You won't have no worries. It'll just be easy breezy.
Pray about it. When I tell you, I can't tell you what prayer I prayed, but I had a nice talk with Jesus. All snot and tears.
Tell them all about your
Really figure out why you want to be with somebody. Some people just don't like to be alone. That's okay, but don't look for someone to fill a void that you have. Before you even start dating, get to know yourself. Who am I? What do I want? What are my dreams? What are my aspirations? Okay, how can someone else add to this? And also, what am I willing to do to add to them?
But if they pulling away from it, if they taking from you, if they stressing you out, if you don't have your peace, it's time to move. Don't let them take your peace away, y'all. Not even just for the sake of saying you married.
Don't ignore the red flag, because those differences will always be there. They do not change. How do we communicate that though? And can I communicate that with this other person where we can have a compromise and find what's going to work for us? Can we find that balance? Figure out what you want, express what you want, set those standards, and have that conversation. If you feel like you're ready to move forward and they have not said it yet, just have the conversation. You know what? Some of y'all may even be surprised when you have that conversation with your significant other. They may say, "Oh, we're not already."
Right.
They may have already thought y'all was there.
Exactly. They may already have a ring and been married and you don't even know it.
To sum it up, just don't be afraid to have that conversation, but also be ready for what comes next.
And don't do what me and my friend do, which is probably overthinking everything.
But it worked for us though.
Well, we love you guys.
Thank you for watching. Please share, comment,
like, subscribe.
And we will shout you out. Just tell us that you have subscribed and turn on your notification bell so that you can get our uploads. You never know when we may go live. You never know when we may just drop something.
So until next time,
she's Marilyn.
And she's Tawana.
And this is
Our Ladies' Space. Bye.